Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up, it's movie time. Today we're heading back to 1993 to see if Cool Runnings still takes the gold. Gather around the TV. We're watching another movie at Grandma's house. Let's dive in. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome to Movies at Grandma's House. I'm your host, Isaac. Ice.
And this is Seth. Oh yeah, just one little drawback to this delightful winter sport. The high-speed crash. Oh, that hurt. Always remember, your bones will not break in a bobsled. No, they shatter.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one for all those 90s nostalgia core memories. What is Grandma putting on for us today?
We are watching 1993's Cool Runnings.
Okay, and just to give you at home the proper spoiler warning, we are going to be breaking down this film, giving our thoughts. So if you have not seen this film, consider yourself warned. Well, let's jump into this. Give a little bit of a backstory of a little film called Cool Runnings. It was released back on October 1st, 1993. The budget, $17 million. The box office raced to $154.9 million. Looking around at some reviews, IMDb sits at an even 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is a 75%. Letterboxd has a 3.6 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it for free streaming on Disney+. It stars Leon Robinson, Dougie Doug, Roll D. Lewis, and John Candy. It's an association with Walt Disney Pictures and Buena Vista Pictures. Last but not least, we have to hear, how is Grandma gonna rate this film?
So Granny's family-friendly rating for Cool Runnings is a B- for language, smoking, and adult themes.
So there you go. If you want to be sure to get your voice heard, leave us a comment down below if you don't mind. We'd love to hear what you think, what you would rate this film, and any memories you have of this growing up. Well, let's rewind a little bit. Again, this was back in 1993. I'm really interested. What are some of your first memories with this movie?
So growing up, this was one of my favorites. The jokes helped, but I also like the deeper things of this movie. I don't recall my first viewing, but I used to watch this over and over again.
Well, that's awesome. This is what I would almost say in a collection of movies was in our rental rotation. We'd go down to a local rental store. Don't recall owning this one, but I just have those memories of going through a video store. And this, I think I mentioned Blank Check, Mighty Ducks, the first one. For some reason, I just have a core memory of always seeing those VHS tapes up on the wall. And I think the first time we watched it was actually rental. I don't recall us seeing it in the theater, but that's kind of the memories I have of it. And we liked it as a family. We thought it was funny. It had its moments because it's based on a true story, those types of things. So good memories with this one is what I can recall back in the 90s. Of course, it's got that nostalgia. But with that said, what was your expectation coming back on the revisit?
So, well, it wasn't all that long ago that I watched this, but my expectations were to just be entertained and laugh. So I was prepared.
All right. I had not seen this in years. I'll go back to, we rented it, but maybe that was the last time I saw it. If I saw it again, it was somewhere lost in the years that went by. So this was almost a fresh take. I do recall a lot of this film, but I don't remember a lot of it either. So it was just that thought of, I hope it's as fun as I remember. I remember being like a fun movie. And then, of course, with my kids, like, is this going to be good for them? Maybe they're going to get lost in it, being a little more on the drama. I remember that it's based on the true story and that type of thing. So I was just hoping they can enjoy it, those types of things. That's what I was hoping for on this revisiting a 1993 classic. Well, before we get into the plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsor. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right, let's take the VHS out of the cover. Let's put it in the VCR and press play.
After 3 hopeful athletes get disqualified from the Olympic Games, they come together, plus Sanka, to form the very first Jamaican bobsled team with the help from a dishonored coach, bundle up, and have a hot cup of cocoa at Grandma's.
Oh, man, the nostalgia with this film. I can recall the promotions, the trailers, and a lot of that was just coming back as soon as I pressed play. I can recall just certain scenes, the part where they're in the bathtub and they're leaning to one side. I remember that being in a bunch of commercials, so I was totally hit with the nostalgia right in the kisser. It just really came flooding back on the quotes and all that things. That's really what sticks out to me. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What's kind of your first impressions as you're watching this film?
I mean, not to quote you, but nostalgia overload. This is steeped in old memories. I mean, it's just my childhood. The language is a bit shocking, I would say, but most of the gags still held up well. What did you think about the bright colors throughout the movie?
I really liked it. I don't know what it was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's something about that. I think it's meant to capture like children's attention. It
Could
still
be.
worked for me. I loved it. I thought the colors, like almost every scene, there's a bright color or a contrast, and I loved it. Loved it.
It's great that you mentioned that, because I think that's what kind of sells a lot of scenes. When you're jumping ahead, they're finally entering the competition and they get their bobsled up to par. It's more colorful. The others are so gray. They're so like vanilla, but theirs sticks out. It's just fun. I adds to that fun feel of what this movie's trying to accomplish. It's just based on this true story of these characters. That's something we'll definitely get into more with the characters, but they're just fun. It's just that, like you said, it kind of appeals to kids, but for me, I don't know. I was like, I like this. This is really good. It drew me right in.
Yeah.
But with that said, again, this is loosely kind of based on a true story. What did you think of the plot? Even though, again, this is based on a true story, just overall, what are some thoughts on the plot?
So this may look like a really silly little movie at first glance, but in fact, it's filled with thought-provoking messages and hard-hitting realities. Some of it's based on reality. I dug into the movie quite a bit, actually, when I was doing research on it. I think 3 of the 4 bobsledders were military guys in real life, but that has nothing to do with this movie. I mean, it's just an example that propelled the movie. The plot was really, I mean, I don't know how, without being based in some reality, how they could have came up with this. But it's a brilliant concept to bring out, these people from Jamaica to Calgary, Canada, and have them compete in the Olympics. I mean, it's just amazing. It's just, and as a kid, I watched it and I was just like blown away by how the contrast of their lives were. And it was just so amazing to me.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. Like, I don't think you could think up such a thing. And it's just really neat how this was true. And that concept of these ones in Jamaica, they were the first Jamaican bobsled team. And it kind of makes those jokes, like you said, it does kind of tread into these topics that people don't usually discuss. So it's kind of a sign of the time too. There's some, like I said, a little bit of those elements that maybe it isn't so much for a kid's movie. I just want to point out, like you said, there's language, there's the smoking, and then those topics that might be a little sensitive, but that's the sign of the times. Again, it's based on a true story, and those types of things might have been true, but it's still just remarkable. Again, that thought of kind of these underdogs. That's the best way to describe it. If you want to summarize of what the story is about, is the underdogs up to the highest degree. Another thing they're contending with is money. That's the big obstacle, is just to get there. They're traveling all the way from Jamaica. And then when they get there, they don't even have a bobsled. So then they are, it's just, I don't know, it draws you in. I really appreciate it. It's not just smooth sailings of like these guys sat around and said, you know what, why don't we try out for the bobsled team? It is in a movie form. It's in its runtime. It's not going to expound on it, but it still feels like it does. Did you feel that way? Even in a short runtime, it still expounded on those elements?
Yes, I honestly think that there's so many deeper thoughts here that weren't they didn't delve into them, but they were addressed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was important to the story with the contrasting environments. You needed a little bit of, I don't know how you want to put it, but it just really worked really well.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just appealing. It's unique. I think this is also showing how Hollywood, dare I say, has just kind of gotten so stale with their stories. This was big back then, even in the midst of people were craving sequels and all this stuff, and it wasn't as popular.
Yeah.
But this was still a hit. And a big reason for that is probably the reach of different cultures and things like that, but also a unique story. It's just fun. Yeah. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. For me, I thought it was fun. It was just a really fun concept of, again, these underdogs overcoming all these obstacles and challenges. I mean, who doesn't want to see that? An underdog story. And jumping again to the plot, kind of spoiling it, they don't win. It's not one of those stories that's so like, oh, yes, they're overcoming every problem they come up with. There's all these challenges. And again, it's based on a true story, so they follow that. But if you're not expecting it, I think it's kind of a whoa when you see them wreck at the end. Wouldn't you agree with that?
It's very jarring. There's a moment there where you're like, are they alive?
Yeah.
And to spoil the movie, I mean, to see them pick up the bobsled and cross the finish line is one of the more emotional things we've ever covered on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm tearing up as I'm talking about
powerful.
It is very powerful.
It brought back those memories because that's exactly what I remember. Like when we were going back to revisit this movie, I was like, oh, we get to see that scene again. It's so well shot. It's well done. I will point out there's a little bit of a cheesy moment, and I've brought it out before, of the slow clap where it just one person starts and then it builds. But I love it. I ate it up.
Works.
I will make it works so well. It's what you want in a movie that's just triumphant. Like, yeah, you want that slow clap in there. It's cheesy, but when done right, I don't care. I'll be like, this is great. And that's how I felt about it. I was just like, it amps you up as much as it's this sad thing that happened. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was the bobsled, because they got this beat up bobsled. It was a practice one. And just over time, it must have worn down and collapsed. So it's really sad, but like you said, it's powerful. It just one of my favorite moments of the movie. I know that's spoiling it, but you got to touch on that scene. I mean,
of course,
it's what, again, when I thought back, I'm gonna get to watch. That's the highlight. The thing that I remember is just movies always have to end on this happy ending. This doesn't have it. It's not really a happy ending. It does, but their hopes and dreams, I mean, in an instant is gone. So that's why it's kind of an emotional. I mean, I'm right there with you. It's an emotional, powerful scene, but you can't help but feel good about it because everybody's at least cheering. And when they put the picture up on the wall to kind of end the movie, it's just like, that's awesome. Like, I can't think of a better way to end it, as much as it was abrupt. It was just, I was really moved by it. But going back, maybe rewind a little bit, because what makes that ending so powerful, I think, is the characters and that you're feeling for it. So I got to ask you, just have at it. What did you think of the characters?
So just roll with me on this, because I wrote down quite a bit this time.
Okay.
So John Candy as Irv is, in this movie, he was asked to deliver a strong minded character who screwed up in years past, a flawed but unique character. And then I wrote down for Derice he was the leader of the group, and he had so much fortitude and determination, which is so evident in so many different scenes of this movie. I'm tearing up again. I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
So Sanka stole the show, in my opinion. He was so funny. Junior was endearing, and Yul was amazing as well. But I need to know from you what you thought of John Candy.
I'll give a hot take of, like, I don't think this is my favorite role of his, but he's fantastic. Like, this just, it's a bittersweet anytime I see John Candy, because I go back to, this was a rental movie. So we've done Rescuers Down Under. I loved him in that. Uncle Buck was one I remember we watched. There's all these movies in the 80s into the 90s with John Candy. Yeah. And this was one of his last ones, kind of towards the end of his career. So it's bittersweet because it's like you get to see John Candy, but it's like, man, it's kind of just that sad. This is a different role for him.
Yes.
Because you're thinking of him as kind of like that Uncle Buck, just the fun guy. He kind of gets those sarcastic jibs in there, which I love. But he's mostly just this grumpy guy that is washed up. He's playing a much different character than he's used to. But I loved him. I mean, I'm just giving an honest, like, if I'm going to rank him, he's still up there. But I don't know if it's like his absolute best. But I loved it. Maybe it's that, I think we talked about it on Rookie of the Year. I don't like seeing John Candy in I want him to be happy and outgoing. This one, he's kind of making fun of him at times towards the beginning, and he like practically chokes the guy, like, get away, go away. And it was like, I don't like seeing John Candy like this. But yeah, what else did you think of John Candy?
Well, I mean, it should be noted, this was the last movie that was, I think, was released before his death. And then there was, I think, one shot before this movie, and then one shot while like they were making this movie or something that was released posthumously. So this was, I believe, the last one that he was alive for the release of. And it's heartbreaking to think about, but he delivered such a role. And like I mentioned, they gave him so much to do in this role. I mean, he talk about an arc. Oh my goodness. His character completely grows with the team as they're growing, and it's just amazing to watch him just take over. And he's a side character in this movie, basically. Yeah. I mean, he's not really the main focal point in this movie, but he does such a good job at it. Yeah. And I would probably agree. I think Uncle Buck comes to mind as probably the best role. Not my favorite movie, maybe, but I'd love that movie, but I would say his acting in that was probably the best. Yeah. In any movies I can think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, they just gave him so much to do in this movie. It was just unbelievable what he could do with that one character.
I agree. And I love the other characters, like you were mentioning. You know, DeReese is just that he gets knocked down, but he doesn't give up. And evidence with John Candy's character, he's determined to get him as their coach. And John Candy keeps going, scram, get out of here. But and I love that, I'll be back. He's like, okay, I'll leave, but I'll be back the next day. And the next day, and the next day. And I'm like, did SpongeBob take this for their meme that's so famous now? I was like, that's so great. Like, that was back in 1993.
Wow.
But I loved his character. Yeah, I mean, Yul kind of reminded me of like that Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was the muscle and kind of that tough guy. I love how he intimidates people and they're scared to death of him. I love that dynamic there. And then you have, Junior is that spoiled rich kid, but he just wants to explore that. He doesn't want to be under his father all the time, kind of calling the shots. And so it's kind of that neat arc with him. He's the reason they're in that situation. He trips them up on that qualifying race. Yeah. But he's also the reason that they get into the bobsledding where he sells his car. So he's got a big heart. He means well. He might be clumsy. He might have all this. And then you have Sanka as the hilarious, funny guy. I mean, he just cracked me up with all of his lines. He just delivers them so well. His notable quote, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. The delivery, even alone of how he delivers that is hilarious.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's something I meant to talk about. So that's like the only improvised line in this movie.
Really?
Yes, and it's like their most famous line. It's improvised. Everything else was pretty much scripted. Almost everything in the movie. The songs in the movies they sing and stuff weren't scripted. They came up with those on the spot. But like as far as like the lines go, that was like the only unscripted line, and it went over so well.
It's another highlight. I go back to the end where they wreck when they're looking like they're going to win a medal, and in that line. That's what you can associate this movie with. If someone says, have you ever seen Cool Runnings? You'd say, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. I mean, that's just, that's so cool that it was improvised though. I appreciate those. It kind of shows respect to the actors or ones that are contributing. It's not just someone calling the shots, the director, producers, like, no, we have to stick to this. When they let people open up, I mean, that's exactly what happens. It becomes iconic in some cases. Yeah. So we'll open up to you. Anything else that we can touch on that we might have missed, or anything just as a movie whole?
I mean, I was just going to say, what we've been saying. So, like, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up. It's bobsled time, cool running. So, yeah, I'm excited to get into the fun facts because there's some doozies in here.
Just open them up. I can't wait either. I thought that with this film, there's got to be some good ones. So fire away.
All right. So our first fun fact, in 2015, Dougie Doug Sanka revealed that he still has Sanka's lucky eggs. They were made out of rubber.
I think it would have to be, right? Because that was an actual egg, and taking, I don't know how much of the stunts they did themselves.
I think that's hysterical.
That's awesome.
All right, so here's some choices they had. All right, so Denzel Washington turned down the role of Doris. Also, Eddie Murphy turned down the role of Sanka. Disney first envisioned the original cast as follows: Denzel as Doris, Eddie Murphy as Sanka, Wesley Snipes as Yul, and Marlon Wayans as Junior. And of course, they got John Candy as Irv. That was what they envisioned. But that's a very interesting lineup. I don't know if you want to talk about that just for a second, or...
That is so Hollywood. That's all I could say. Like, those were these stars at the time. Like, wow, that is... this did well. Again, we mentioned it did well at the box office. I wonder if it would have obviously been more on the budget side, but I wonder if it would have been bigger, because that was kind of the case back then. You get those big names, it does attract more of an audience.
One of those movies, I think it needed to have very little known stars.
I agree.
Like the character, the guy that played Yul, it was his first movie.
Yeah.
And so, like, that, to me, I feel like they casted right, even though those would have been amazing people. I feel like they casted right because these were unknown people to most people, and so it gave that story some more reality.
Yeah,
and it just felt more real. But to go along with that, Tupac auditioned for the role of for this movie, and Cuba Gooding Jr. was also considered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big names in this one.
Yeah. Some really big names.
Oh, man. I agree. I'm with you 100%. I am so happy that they weren't. Yeah. No disrespect to those names. I think they could have done a great job with it, obviously, with their, star power and everything. But I love the cast. I think the characters are great. I love the just Yul and Junior going at it, and then they grow, and that's just a great character arc. We've talked about character arcs, and this is a great one of those. And I mean, just, we didn't really touch on it as much, but Doris, his arc is more of like, he doesn't quit, but he's also trying to find purpose. And he asks, Irv that question, like, how do you know what your aim is? How do you know you've made it? And he just said, you'll know when you cross the finish line. That's just powerful. That's just really powerful.
It really dates itself, me saying that Tupac was auditioned for this role.
Yeah. So I didn't even really touch on that. Right. That's like crazy to think Tupac, what that would have been like. I think it could have worked, but still,
I wonder what role. I didn't see what role he auditioned for, but he auditioned. So that's
wow. Yeah.
Amazing to think about these different people that could have been in the movie.
The what ifs. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I am ready. I want to keep the streak going, so here we go.
I'm really hoping you get this one, although I'm not 100% sure that you will.
Okay. Thanks for the confidence.
I'm sorry. I'm shooting you down already. All right.
Bring it on.
All right, so which brand of car did Junior sell to help get them into the Olympics? A Porsche, B, an MG, or C, an Austin Healey?
Okay, so he sold it for around $20,000. Try to think what the price back in 1993. Maybe that is a hint. Ooh, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not going to get this one. That is a challenge.
You want me to read them off again, just in case?
Just the answers, yeah. One more time.
Yeah. So A, Porsche, B, MG, or C, Austin Healey?
Let's go with that last one, Austin Healey.
Now, that's what I would have guessed. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's actually B. It was a 1959 MGA was the model.
Okay.
And I had to research that It took me at least a half an hour to an hour to find out which car that was.
Good job.
So I did some research for this movie.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Well, my streak's come to an end. I still feel
I'm
pretty
sorry.
good. I've done good this season, so I'm just gonna start a new one. That's how I'll look at it. That's a good trivia question. You finally stumped me this season. That's the first one.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. I love it. That was a great question. I'll have to remember that one for next time, though. All right. Well, before we get to our rating, our review, we like to look around the net, just see what other people's thoughts are. So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing out there?
All right. So the first review is from Shrave86. They say, funny, strong, and endearing characters, 9 out of 10.
I agree with that. All of the above. I mean, that's how I would kind of say is the strength of this movie. The characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, the story is unique, but I would say the characters is kind of that highlight. Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. So another repeat offender, Snoopy Style, said, funny, joyful movie, 7 out of 10.
Yep. It's an enjoyable movie. I mean, we talked about, we'll get into it more with our reviews. There's a few things to kind of keep in mind with the adult themes, language, but it's an enjoyable movie for the family for the most part, I would say. Yeah.
And the last one I found was Lee Jink says, The Road to Calgary, 7 out of 10.
Okay. So pretty respectable ratings going on there. That's about what the reviews on your IMDb's Rotten Tomatoes is, probably around that 7 out of 10. So that seems to be what people are thinking. But let's get down to our thoughts. So I'm going to ask you, Seth, for the 1993 film Cool Runnings, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
So although it's got some flaws, I have so much unbelievable nostalgia for this one. I love the deeper messages and the silliness and the acting. So I have to take this home.
Nice. Very, very nice. I'm with you. This is just an enjoyable movie. And if you watched it during that time, it's just got that nostalgia. I don't know what it is. It just captures the 90s so well. And John Candy. I mean, just put John Candy in a movie and that should put you in that like nostalgic mind of he just dominated those times on it. I'll admit, my kids didn't want to watch this one and it took some time for them to get their attention. That doesn't factor into my rating. I just realized I didn't touch on what my kids were thinking, but they were kind of not held interest-wise. So outside of the themes, the language, and things like that, this might be a tough sell for kids, younger kids. I've got the younger ones. But this is such a fun movie. I love this movie. Just the like you said, kind of the lessons learned, the overall just character arcs. I eat those up every time. I mean, I'm a sucker for those. And even your cheesy slow claps. Like, how do you end a movie better than that? Like, that's just so good. I think this earns the respect of a take it home. I'm going to give it the highest honor of watch it at grandma's because that's how I think of this movie. It was kind of that rental movie that you come back and revisit every once in a while. I think that's what's so perfect about this is you can watch it every once in a while and you're going to be captivated. Like, yes, this is great. This is pulling me back to the 90s. So I think there's just something about it. Like I could take this home, but I think it fits that watch it at grandma's. You're going to really appreciate it coming back to it every time. Outside of, again, we mentioned like the language. There's a lot more language than I remember. So just be on the lookout for that. There's a few scenes where it's like, it keeps going. It's not like here or there. So that would be my cons. But if you can get past that, I mean, the overall messages and just fun time. I go back to John Candy. I'm sorry. He was just a gem, treasure. Love that guy. Just anything he's in, he just brings that energy. And he is no different in this movie. You're going to have a good time. Well, there it is, folks. We got another movie in the books. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. We have a great newsletter, so check it out. You can email us at movies@grandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a Patreon, so become a member. And we're brought to you by movieposters.com. So at checkout, use code Grandma's House for up to 15% off.
That's it. Yeah, be sure you're on our newsletter because we have our monthly giveaway for a free poster from movieposters.com. All good stuff. It's a lot of fun. And again, as a reminder, make sure you comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what you thought of cool runnings. We'd love to hear memories because this, again, it hit us in nostalgia. I'm sure it hit you if you grew up in the 90s. So be sure you leave us a comment down below on your review as well.
On the top of just real quick, on the top of my head, I think this is in my top 3 that we've ever covered for nostalgia for me.
Oh, there you go.
This movie, when I was a kid, was the movie. Like, I watched this. I mean, I dare to say, how I can't even count how many times.
It was a classic. Yeah. We'd love to hear those kind of memories. Like, what did you think of seeing it the first time or growing up like Seth? Did you watch it over and over again? So yes, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So Seth mentioned you can contact us. At the very least, leave us a comment below. We appreciate each one of you. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's house. But don't worry, we will be back soon. But in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.